Hello everyone, Dr. Manali here. In this video, we will be discussing about neurocutaneous syndromes. So before beginning the actual explanation part, we will see a question. The question is about matching the findings and the diseases. In findings, they have mentioned about Chagrin patch, port wine stain, bilateral vestibular schwannoma, Crowet sign, leash nodules, and Conan's tumor. And in case of diseases, they have mentioned some neurocutaneous syndromes. Sometimes it might be some a little confusing for us to remember which sign was in which disease. So in this video, we will see some basics and we will see some image findings related to the diseases and some tricks to remember the findings. So let's begin. So let's start with basics. Neurocutaneous syndromes. So neuro is for CNS, cutaneous is for skin. So these syndromes will have both neurological and cutaneous manifestations. Majority of the disorders are familial and they are believed to arise from a defective differentiation of primitive ectoderm. As we know, skin and CNS both develop from ectoderm. So these disorders are because of defective differentiation, and majority of them are transmitted in autosomal dominant fashion except Sturge-Weber's, because Sturge-Weber's is transmitted sporadically. So S for S, Sturge-Weber is for sporadic. So first is neurofibromatosis. It is also known as von Reckling-Hausen disease. It is a progressive disorder. It has got distinctive features which are present at birth, but complications develop over the decades. And it has got two types, type 1 and type 2. First is associated with chromosome number 17 and second type is associated with chromosome number 22. Neurofibromatosis type 1. To make a diagnosis, we have to get at least 2 findings out of 7 which are enlisted here, and it is a diagnostic criteria. Then I have arranged these findings in top to bottom fashion. Leash nodules, optic glioma, axillary or inguinal freckling, cafe au lait macules, presence of more than or equal to 2 neurofibromas or 1 plexiform neurofibroma, a distinctive osseous lesion which can be sphenoid dysplasia or thinned out long bone cortex with or without pseudoarthrosis, and presence of first degree family relative. Don't get scared if you're not remembering anything. We will see a story to remember this. To remember the features, you have to remember the story of a boy who had got a new job, and as you know, in the beginning, all the interns and newbies have got one job only, and that is carrying coffee for their boss and seniors. So, one new boy is carrying coffee for his boss, but he trips over a stone and falls down, and hot coffee spills all over his body, and coffee enters his eyes. It goes in his skin and axilla, and he also gets a fracture in his leg because of falling down. So these are the characters which are going to be seen in your neurofibromatosis type 1. One new boy, so you can remember one new, that is neurofibromatosis type 1. And the coffee went in his eyes, so you can see the eye findings. First is leash nodules. You can see the coffee brown spots in his eyes, and leash nodules are nothing but hematomas. And hematomas are what? They are basically the lesion which are made up of the cells of the tissue because of the abnormal growth in that periphery. Now these the prevalence increases with age, and these are better seen with slit lamp examination. And the second eye finding is optic nerve glioma. You can see the lesion behind the right eyeball, and this lesion consists of glial cells and mucinous material. So leash nodules and optic nerve glioma, these are the two eye findings in case of NF1. So as the coffee spilled on his skin and it went in axilla and everything, so there are some skin findings. First is axillary freckling, and this is nothing but hyperpigmented areas in the patient's axilla. These can be seen in inguinal areas as well, and this is known as Crowet sign. So Crowet sign is nothing but hyperpigmented axillary freckling. Second skin lesion is cafe au lait spots, and this is hallmark of NF1, and they are present in almost 100% of cases. Cafe au lait literally means coffee and milk, and as you can see in the top image, the appearance of coffee after adding the milk is somewhat like the lesion which is present in the which is shown in the lower image. So this is like some hyperpigmented patches, and these can be present from birth, but the size, number and pigmentation increases within first few years. They are mainly on trunk and extremities. They spare the face, and the diagnostic criteria, you have to remember the numbers. Number is more than equal to 6, And in case of size, in prepubertal age, the size should be more than equal to 5 millimeter, and in case of postpubertal age, the size should be more than equal to 15 millimeter. So छोटा बच्चा is छोटा size, prepubertal is 5 mm, बड़ा बच्चा postpubertal is बड़ा size 15 mm. So as the coffee was hot, the boy also got some blister-like lesions. So this is a mnemonic to remember our next cutaneous findings in NF1, that is neurofibroma and plexiform variety of neurofibroma. You can see in the image that neurofibromas are some small rubbery lesions, and they arise from nerve sheath, and plexiform variety is the type of neurofibroma where the lesion is because of diffuse thickening of nerve trunk, and they are frequently located in the orbital and temporal region. And as the boy has fallen down, he had got fracture in his leg. So you have to remember there are some osseous lesions as well. First is pseudoarthrosis of tibia. You can see the leg appears like it has got some extra joint in the lower end, but it is not the actual joint, so the name is pseudoarthrosis. Or the baby can have sphenoid dysplasia. You can also note the ptosis in the eye. So this is about the bony findings in case of NF1. So to revise, neurofibromatosis 1 had café au lait macules, axillary or inguinal freckling, which was known as Crow's sign. It had got neurofibromas, it has got plexiform neurofibroma, lesion nodules, diffuse distinct osseous lesions. It can be tibial pseudoarthrosis or sphenoid dysplasia, optic glioma, and diagnostic criteria was first degree family relative. So now about neurofibromatosis type 2, you have to remember three things in case of NF2. First is rule of 2. NF2 is associated with chromosome number 22, that is 22. It affects 2 years, that is bilateral vestibular schwannoma, and it affects age group in case of second and fourth decade, so around 20s. So this is rule of 2 in case of NF2. Second thing is you have to remember Miss Me. It is a mnemonic for remembering the findings in case of NF2. M से meningioma, S से schwannoma, and ME से multiple ependymoma. So Miss Me is for meningioma, schwannoma, and multiple ependymoma. And you can also remember ME of Miss Me is for Merlin protein. So NF2 is associated with Merlin protein, and NF1 was associated with neurofibrin. Now, third thing to remember that MISME or NF2 is everything about coverings and lining. So, in case of meningioma, meninges is your covering of brain, schwannoma is your covering of peripheral nerves or nerves, and ependyma are the cells which line the ventricular cavity. So, if you remember that everything NF2 is everything about coverings and linings, this will help you to remember that Mismica M is nothing but meningioma and not your medulloblastoma or something else. So it will help you to rule out the options in case of some questions. And you have to remember one more point, that NF2 is a misnomer because there are no neurofibromas in neurofibromatosis type 2. So if they try to confuse you with options in this topic, you have to remember these things, and it will help you to remember and rule out the options. Now our next neurocutaneous syndrome, that is tuberous sclerosis. Tuberous sclerosis is also known as Bonville-Pringle disease, and it is associated with two genes, that is TSC1 and TSC2 gene. In case of TSC1 gene, it is associated with hamartin protein, and it is on chromosome number 9. And TST2 gene is related with tuberin, and it is on chromosome 16. To remember this, you can remember that TS, that is tuberous sclerosis ka TS, is for 3 square. TS 3 square. So 3 ka square is 9. So TSC1 is associated with chromosome number 9, and TSC2 may, that is 3 plus 1, that is 4. So 4 ka square is 16. So tuberous sclerosis 2 gene is on 16th chromosome, and 2 say tuberin. So TSC2 gene is associated with tuberin protein. Now you have to remember that younger the patient presenting with tuberous sclerosis, there is a greater risk of MR, that is mental retardation. And in case of diagnostic criteria, presence of two major findings or one major plus two minor findings is is enough for making diagnosis of tuberous sclerosis. In case of major findings, you have to remember that it involves major organs like skin, brain, eye lesions, or heart, kidney, and lung tumors. And minor में there are some minor findings like bone cysts or dental pits, gingival fibroma, confetti skin lesions. They won't ask about the details. You just have to remember the chromosome and the proteins associated with this disorder. Tuberous sclerosis shows a classical triad known as Vogt's triad, and to remember the findings, you can remember the mnemonic like epiloias. Epi is for epilepsy, low E, LOI, low IQ, and AS is for adenoma sebaceum. So Vogt's triad is epilepsy, low IQ, and adenoma sebaceum. In case of adenoma sebaceum, you have to remember that it is a misnomer and it is not related to sebaceous glands. Basically, these are some facial angiofibromatous lesion and they appear between age of 4 to 6 years. You can see the tiny red nodules over the nose and cheeks and you might confuse them with the acne, but they are not acne and they are some angiofibromatous lesion. So epilepsy, low IQ and adenoma sebaceum is a triad of your tuberous sclerosis. So to remember about extra findings of tuberous sclerosis, you have to remember about vegetables. You can see I have highlighted some vegetables in that image. You can see the potato, you can see the leafy vegetables. So you have to remember the findings with these vegetables only. I'll tell you how to do it. So your first finding is Conan's tumor. You can see in the left image that the tuber is showing sprouting and the right image is exactly the similar presentation that it is showing something coming out from the nails. So Conan tumor is nothing but your periungual fibroma and there are some lesions which are arising from the nail. So I know it is thoda gross, but I'm pretty sure that if you remember this analogy, you will never forget that Conan's tumor or periungual fibroma are seen in tuberous sclerosis. So you have to remember that the tuber, that is potato, so it is related to the tuberous sclerosis and the sprouting is similar to the Conan tumor or periungual fibroma. Now it's time for leafy vegetables, and as we know, leafy vegetables are green and they have leaves. So you can remember the two findings, that is ash leaf macules and shag green patch. So ash leaf macules, you can see in the left image that they are nothing but some leaf shaped hypopigmented macules. You can see the white areas on the body and they are well visualized under Wood's lamp. You can see the leaf shape in the image I am trying to show you and they are exactly similar in that pattern. So ash leaf macules are the hypopigmented macules and the right image is showing shagreen patch. Remember the green shagreen patch, and it's not green in color, it's just a way to remember. So shagreen patch is nothing but a rough raised lesion of orange peel consistency. You can note that in the lumbosacral area. So leafy vegetables, leaf green, leaf say ash leaf and shagreen say, sorry, green say shagreen. So some extra additional features now. To remember this, you just remember that tuberous sclerosis has a lots of tubers, that is hematomas. So whatever lesion looks like tuber, that is some mass, they are going to be there in tuberous sclerosis. In case of CNS, there are cortical tubers and they are present in cerebral convolutions and subependymal lesions. And when the subependymal lesions undergo calcification, they project in the ventricular cavity and they show candle dripping appearance. So you can see in the image that the radiological image that there are some white lesions in subependymal area which are projecting in the ventricular cavity and they look exactly like some wax is dripping from the candle. So candle dripping appearance is seen in tuberous sclerosis. Now the tuberous sclerosis ka lesions, they can present, the baby can present with infantile spasm and the EEG shows hips arrhythmic pattern, and when infantile spasm are associated with tuberous sclerosis you have to give vigabatrin and otherwise drug of choice for infantile spasm is ACTH. Now, heart, lungs, and kidney show similar findings. In case of heart, you have rhabdomyosarcoma. In case of lungs, you have lymphangiomyomatosis. And in case of kidney, you have angiomyolipomatosis. I know these names are little long and little tough to remember, but just remember that any lesion which is like hematoma and some tumor like lesion, they are there in tuberous sclerosis. Some additional features you can remember that rhabdomyosarcoma can be detected in fetus with echocardiography. They can cause CHF arrhythmia, but spontaneously and slowly they resolve on its own. In case of lymphangiomyomatosis of lungs, they are more common in females and they are classical lesions, and as it has got lymph, the pleural tap can show the lymph, that is chylic fluid. And in case of kidney, there is angiomyolipomatosis. So this is all about tuberous sclerosis. You can also remember the findings as the mnemonic as Ashleaf, A say Ashleaf, S say Chagrin, H say heart rhabdomyosarcoma, L say lung hematomas, E say epilepsy from cortical tubers, and they also showed the subependymal lesions also showed candle dripping appearance. A say angiomyolipoma in kidney, and F say facial angiofibroma, that is nothing but your adenoma sebaceum. So now third syndrome, Sturge-Weber syndrome. Sturge-Weber syndrome results from anomalous development of primordial vascular bed in early stages of cerebral vascularization. So the overlying leptomeninges are highly vascular and underlying brain becomes atrophic and calcified. There are typical findings: intracranial calcification. Intracranial calcification is majority times seen in occipitoparietal area, and there is a specific pattern, that is serpentine or tram track or railroad calcification. This is associated with unilateral cortical atrophy because of the hampered blood supply, and there is ipsilateral dilation of ventricle on that side. Then the baby can have seizures in the first year of life, and they are typically focal tonic-clonic type, and they are seen on contralateral to the side of facial nevus. As we know that cerebral area controls the contralateral side, so you have the baby will have the seizures on contralateral side of the facial nevus or the calcification. Then the next finding, that is facial nevus, it is also known as port wine stain, and the lesion is present at birth. It is permanent lesion and it is unilateral. They generally involve upper face and eyelid, but they can also present on lower face, trunk and mucosa of mouth. Third lesion which involves eyes, that is they are going to be ipsilateral and they can have buphthalmos and glaucoma. So glaucoma is the specific finding which is seen in Sturge-Weber. So to remember this in an easier way, you can remember this picture. See the picture, the girl is sitting on the a railroad or a tram track, and she is holding two wine glasses in her hands. So as you all know, before drinking wine, they usually stir the glass. So you have to remember stirring say Sturge-Weber syndrome, and wine glass say port wine stain. As you can see, she is sitting on the railroad, so the Sturge-Weber syndrome will show railroad or tram track appearance ka calcification. As you can see, her eyes are really big, so you have to remember that Sturge-Weber syndrome will show glaucoma or buphthalmos. So these are the findings seen in Sturge-Weber syndrome. So see the radiological image, you can see on the left side there is some serpentine white color ka lesion, that is nothing but serpentine or tram track calcification. And you can see the baby is having some pinkish reddish area on the upper face, and it is also involving the eyelid, and that is nothing but port wine stain. So in Sturge-Weber syndrome the baby will have tram track calcification, and she will also have port wine stain. Now fourth neurocutaneous syndrome, that is von Hippel-Lindau syndrome. And as you can see, there are three names, that is von Hippel-Lindau. It is associated with chromosome number 3p. So it will show two lesions, that is cerebellar hemangioblastoma and retinal angioma. So in case of cerebellar hemangioblastoma, you can see in the radiological image that it is showing some cystic lesion and with mural enhancing nodule. I hope you can see. So the hemangioblastoma will have cystic appearance with mural enhancing nodule, and they can sometimes also involve spinal cord. And in case of retinal angioma, there are nothing but some small masses of thin walled capillaries, and which are fed by large tortuous arterioles and venules. So you can see in the retina ka image there is some lesion which is nothing but retinal angioma. And to remember these findings, you can remember that V is one of the last alphabet. V of von Hippel is one of the last alphabet. So this syndrome also affects the structures which are present in the end or the last. So cerebellum, which is present posteriorly, and retina, which is present at the end of the eyeball. So V von Hippel-Lindau, and it involves cerebellum and retina. So this was all about neurocutaneous syndromes, and now let's try to solve the question which we had seen in the beginning. Chagrin patch, green is vegetable, vegetable wala disease was tuberous sclerosis. So chagrin patch is tuberous sclerosis. Port wine stain, wine stir karte hai, so it is Sturge-Weber syndrome. Bilateral vestibular schwannoma, bilateral rule of 2, which was in neurofibromatosis type 2. Crow's sign was nothing but axillary freckling, which was we had seen that it was because of the coffee. So coffee wala disease was of new boy, neurofibromatosis type 1. Leash nodules, again coffee collision, that is neurofibromatosis type 1. And Conan tumor, it was like sprouting, and the sabji wala disease, that is tuberous sclerosis. So that's all for today. Thank you. Keep pushing.